Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm at Aircon, and today I'm joined by
Steve!
And we've just finished playing The Expanse board game. So this is based on the popular sci-fi TV show. It's been on Netflix recently. And essentially it's an area control game. You can see you've got cubes all over the place. Each player takes a faction. So in this case I was the Martian Congressional Republic. And you're trying to get cubes of your colour on appropriate spots. And there's various scoring that's going to take place in different sections in the game. So as we went through, we were kind of getting, whoever has the most cubes in a section is getting that points, second most cubes and third most points. So you're trying to get as many cubes out as you can so you can score the points when the scoring cards come out. But in terms of actually how you place the cubes and take actions, each turn you're picking a card from a selection available here. You have to pay a cost though, and interestingly this cost that you're paying is victory points. So if I decide I want to use this card, I have to pay a victory point in order to do it. And when you take the card, either you use the number at the top right, which gives you 3 action points here. So an action point typically might be, you could take a cube and place it somewhere where you have a ship. So you can see I've got ships here, so I can place a cube here. You might want to move your ship from one location to another location. That's obviously important so that you can then place cubes in that location. So you can spend action points like that, or there's going to be some kind of special ability. So in this case, people will be scoring, the CP is points essentially, so you're scoring points depending on how many of those particular types of bases you're controlling. So each base on the board has a certain type, and when scoring happens, each faction gets extra points for certain types. So I was after the water and whatever resource that is, I'm not quite sure, but so I'm trying to control these sorts of planets. They're the ones I'm after, along with the water ones. So it's nice because it's balanced in a way that the different players are fighting. So I was fighting with Steve for certain kinds of planets, and Steve's fighting for Mark with different planets, and I'm fighting for Mark for different planets as well. So there's an interesting kind of tug of war going on there. You can see people have been placing lots of cubes, fighting over the different areas. After you pick cards, they kind of slide down, and every now and then a scoring card pops up. And if somebody picks a scoring card, then we score everything. So timing's really critical, because you're not necessarily going to get points just because you have the most. It has to be when the scoring card comes out. So you're trying to get the cubes on, but you have a limited number of cubes, so you're also trying to move them around so that when the scoring card comes out, you get the most points possible. Most points at the end is the winner. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not generally a fan of these sorts of games, the picking on other people, trying to take cubes off and put your cubes on, and hoping other people battle out so you can kind of get all the other planets that they're not fighting for. But this has the Twilight Struggle aspect to it, because if you don't take the card for the event and you take the action points, some cards have 4 action points, brilliant, but the event's quite good as well. And what happens, I'm going to pick 2 examples. This one, if I was white, then this particular event would go to Jonathan and Mark. So basically, based on some sort of initiative track, Jonathan might get first dibs, then Mark, or vice versa. Some events will go to everyone. So if someone else takes this event, I might get a shot at, if someone else takes an action point, I might get a shot at taking the event. And so you find yourself in the game, not necessarily always going for the one that gives you the most action points. Sometimes you're going for the one that you think, actually, I don't mind these guys having this event. If I take this now, them using it won't actually hurt me too much. Sometimes you think, oh my god, they can't have this event. If I take this for the points, they're going to do me in with the event that comes after my turn. So I'm just going to have to take the event myself, or something like that. So that put us added on to like this sort of area control cubey game makes it quite playable for me. I've played it with 3 players twice, and when Jonathan says that you're fighting for different people, so I have 2 resources, one of which Mark needs, one of which Jonathan needs, and we've got this like 3-way tie. I think in a 4-player game, one of the races changes a bit, so I have a tie with these 2, Jonathan will have a tie with these 2, but Jonathan and I will have no direct ties. I haven't played with 4 players, but I think a direct tie with everyone in the game is much more preferable.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, I mean, first thing to say, it has got possibly one of the worst production values I've seen in a board game in the past 10 years, maybe. But, yeah, I think it's like this is like a light Twilight Struggle that can be played by more than 2 people, and ultimately it probably succeeds on that front. It's not family weight, but it's certainly a lot more that weight than Twilight Struggle, etc. is. I think the biggest thing I'd say about it cost me like under £30. That's quite a lot of game for £30. It kind of reminds me of the old Castles of Burgundy, which was incredibly good value. You got a lot of game for sure. It plays fine. it's an area control game. Most people play it. It's got interesting things going on. I kind of like it.
Rating?
I think I'd give it a 7.5.
Okay. Steve?
It's good at what it does, but it's just not my sort of game. I'm only going to rate it a 6.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll be more with Steve on this one. I'm not a huge fan of area control. Having said that, I do really like Twilight Struggle. And they're right, it feels like a 3 or 4 player version of Twilight Struggle. I like the card mechanic. As Steve says, the decision between do I take the points and potentially give them a really good action, or am I better off just taking the action myself, even if I'd rather have the points? So there's plenty of thinking to be done. I mean, you are fully engaged trying to work out, what do I pick here? But like with many air control games, you're going to have this swinginess of you sort of invest heavily here, but then so does someone else, and you end up fighting out, and the third player or the fourth player just benefits from your fight effectively. It's hard to know where to pick your battles. I like the spatial element. You've got to move your ships around so that you can place the cubes in those areas. So it's a solid area control game, I think. I like the theme. Feels a little bit pasted on, but it makes it interesting enough. I think I'd be on a 6.5. But if you, as I say, if you like area control, I do think it does its job well. All right, thanks for watching. That was The Expanse.